welcome to yet another episode of the Talking Pogsense Podcast. Before we get going, if we can get a quick check on the audio from those in the live Twitch chat.
Yes. Is
Babushka! Babushka!
How are the audio levels?
you're not
Babushka!
But yes, this is Saturday night edition.
Saturday Night Live.
Saturday Night Live!
There we go. Yeah, so I've been trying to balance the audio because there's been a few comments from the last one, and I noticed as well that I was significantly louder than the other two, so that's all fine. We are all drinking.
What have we got, boys?
I've gone for a standard Corona.
Nice. Jam?
Vera Moretti.
Nice. And I have gone with a Krabby's alcoholic ginger beer as a first time,
Any good?
It's actually quite nice. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Does it just
So-
taste like ginger beer?
Yeah, it just tastes like ginger beer. So
The only,
alcoholic.
not that I drink ginger beer often. Just it was
Ginger beer's
this.
quite nice.
Yeah, it was this,
like
or there
a-
was the fridge full of tonic water. So
the only experience I've had of ginger beer and alcohol is I went on a cricket tour down to Sussex and Surrey.
didn't you also go on a cricket tour to Budapest or something?
Prague? Well, it was a tour with the club, but we didn't play any cricket. This one actually was cricket.
Oh, okay.
The first night, there's a lot of well-off people. People have done well for themselves. They like to spend it. So the first night consists of drinking pretty much exclusively Moscow Mule, which is
Nice.
a cocktail that is made up of ginger beer, vodka, and a bit of
Mhm.
lime juice, and it was glorious. I can still taste it to this day. I didn't like ginger beer, and then I had that.
And now you love it.
I got messed up on it because that was so easy to drink.
Yeah, ginger beer's nice.
Because you
But it
have
has to be a good ginger beer.
you have ginger beer and you have ginger ale, don't you? Like one is purposely
Mm.
alcoholic, one's just like a soft drink. I think.
Ginger ale's not very nice.
Yeah.
But ginger beer, if it's a nice ginger beer, then it's good. Because I know Palmer's do a really nice ginger beer. Top notch.
Top notch.
But then
Top
some are a bit too like gingery, you know?
Yes. I have an announcement.
Oh God.
I have received approval from my application
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
already?
already.
Well,
It's
to be
like my
fair,
reminder.
I think
Quick.
they've been flying through them this past week. So for those who don't know, me and Dunk have got into GTA RP in the last few weeks.
Well, not just me and you.
Well, me,
and
you, and there's a few other friends of the
Butch,
stream. Butch,
Darren,
Zixter, Darren.
Zixter.
Zixter being sort of the OG because he's done it for quite a while. And well, he's
Hmm.
apparently wanting to join us.
Yeah, well, he's
Yeah.
hopping on the bandwagon.
I'm hopping on the bandwagon.
I presume it got approved.
What, my application?
Yeah.
Yeah. I got a message back saying my application's been approved. I'm now waiting for a interview or some
You can do that when I think what you got to do is you just got to go in their Discord and basically wait for an interview, and someone will probably call you in.
I don't get it. What, do I actually have to chat to someone?
I don't know because I didn't have to do it. Dunk didn't have to do it. Zixter said he had to do it at the start, but he said it turned into like just a 15-minute chat about.
I
think it's
don't want to
just-
talk to
it's
some
probably-
randomer for 15 minutes
It's
about.
probably not like an interview. It's probably just a chat about.
It'll just
what
be
the
like,
server's
"Oh,
like,
hey,
and
what's
just,
your
like,
name?"
Introducing you.
But even having a chat, I just don't want to talk to some randomer about some game.
Funnily enough, RP is all about
That's what-
talking
that's
to
what RP is
strangers.
about.
Oh, yeah, I guess once I'm in the game, it makes sense.
It gets
but
easier. So
as long as I don't have to pretend to be my character in this
no,
conversation.
I doubt
No.
it. They might ask for a little bit of backstory potentially.
Yeah.
A little
Could.
bit like tell us a little bit about your character. I don't know, but we aren't the people to get it. But that's good. So you could potentially be playing that tomorrow, or tonight, or whenever.
Probably tomorrow. Maybe Monday. Maybe Monday. We'll
yeah,
see.
me. So I mean, we talking to Zixter about it yesterday. He sort of said how the server we've gone on it's still building, but there's been quite a lot of stuff that's gone down.
Quite a quiet one.
And that's probably resulted in stuff that's gone down because it is like for scale, like the main one that people go on and Twitch streamers go on is No Pixel. And it's quite exclusive to get on that, and there's a waiting list to get it on all the time.
Big,
and it's,
big wait.
Yeah, it's worldwide, so it's that is just and ours comparison is 60 up to 64 players, but gets no more than 20 to push. But they're very engaging. They're doing a lot of stuff all the time with it. Hopefully they keep going with it. But
exciting times. I cannot wait to be a binman.
I couldn't remember the other job they do.
I
remember because they do truck driving, which is like delivery man, taxi driver. Oh, that was it. Tow truck.
Yeah.
Tow truck.
Tow driver, which I never.
Do you have to do a job?
No.
It can be, but you need money to pay for stuff.
Oh, I guess you can fish, can't you?
You can fish. You can be a criminal.
I was gonna say, can I just rob a bank?
Yeah, if you really wanted, but you might get chucked in prison all the time.
Yeah.
Nah, too good.
But
too good. Just talk my way out of it.
Sure, just say you're at the bank for just
hanging out. Officer, they ran that way.
Also, I'm just hanging out at the back. At the bank.
Why have you got a bag full of money? I'm just here to cash it in. And easy peasy.
Good fun. It's good fun though, RP.
No, it is. Yeah, and me and Zixter found like a fruit because we wanted to go on one that was public. After a few trials, we found one that seems pretty good. Doesn't require anything to get on. It's sort of styled on the sort of the user interface. What No Pixel use. Seems well run. Plenty of people in it, always large numbers. Which could be a good one to sort of do on the side.
Do I have to go through the whole character creation, as in like looks wise as well?
Yeah, but it's quite easy to do.
You can be as in depth or not as you want. That.
I'm going to give him a scar on his left eye. It's from where his mother threw one of his toy bikes at him when he was younger.
Threw like a whole bike.
Fuck it, why not? Yeah, just a whole bike was lobbed at this kid's forehead, and he's just growing up with a scar
on his left eye.
That's my plan.
Going back to what Jan was saying about when he was somewhere with cricket lads and talking about ginger beer and Moscow mules. What is your guys' favorite cocktail or your go-to cocktail?
Sex on the beach.
Nice.
I love it. Sex on the beach. Although, when you go on a holiday, it's always a love on the beach, isn't it? The hotels refuse to put the word sex on the beach on their menu, so it's always, can I get a love on the beach? And they know instantly what it is.
Yeah.
Whether you ask for a sex on the beach, they think you're some pervert that's trying to make a move. So,
I mean, it's good to be safe, isn't it?
Always wear protection, yes.
Not quite what I meant, but go on, Jam. What's yours?
Varies because cocktail place. But Sex on the Beach is good. Not in that instance to drink.
Is that your final answer? Sex on the beach.
I love the detail.
Mm-hmm.
I love the detail from Jam.
I wanted more than that, Jam. Go on, if you said
we're entertaining.
You said depends on the.
Yeah. What other ones do you go for?
Or, yeah. Okay.
All right.
Jam's
nipping. Jam's nipping away. Dunk, what's your favorite cocktail?
Mine's a good old whiskey sour.
Good old whiskey.
Like a whiskey sour, yeah.
I'm not a big fan of whiskey. That's why I don't really ever touch the whisk. I'm trying to think of what other ones there are that I have. In a Wetherspoons, the Blue Lagoon picture.
True.
That's unbelievable. Yeah. That's so good. I could drink them like there's no tomorrow.
I do like a White Russian.
Does that contain vodka?
It is.
Because it sounds like
I
it would
forgot what it
contain
is, but it's nice. Let's have a look. Vodka, coffee liqueur, and cream.
vodka, coffee, liqueur, and cream. Okay, that sounds. It
So
sounds interesting.
it's like an alcoholic coffee, basically.
Yeah.
It's nice. Good stuff.
I'm trying to think what other ones there are.
Just getting bullied in the chat.
Yep.
Old man and posh.
Old man and posh. You do live in that part of the country, so
It wasn't my choice, but
well, yeah,
I couldn't help it.
You don't choose where you're born. You don't choose how you live. It's just you grow up to be who you are. We're all part of a simulation. I'm trying to think of other cocktails at this point, and I just cannot for the life
There's
of me.
the ones that they do at the Las Iguanas.
Yeah, Las Iguanas
cocktails.
cocktails are good.
They do like a cocktail night. Well, not cocktail night,
Yes,
but like
they're always 2 for 1.
yeah,
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Good stuff.
There's English Bramble. That's amazing. And English Bramble is so nice. I can't tell you what is actually in it completely, but I know it's gin based.
Have you seen like the TikTok cocktail that was going around with Coronas? Like the
Oh
Mexican
yes, the one with like you
take a bit
pour,
out, then you put tequila.
yeah,
and then orange juice.
Yeah, and then
and
you
then
put some pomegranate juice as well, and then
grenadine. It's quite nice.
yeah, the grenadine. That's the one. Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, I think for anyone that doesn't live in the UK, obviously we're a big fan of our pubs and bars. You could literally walk along a high street, and I think you're probably going to see 2 or 3 at a minimum. And I'm pretty sure 2 for 1s are almost a daily thing now. Wherever you go, there's always a 2 for 1 going on, whether it be in some town centre, whether it be your local village pub. It's always 2 for 1.
The alcohol.
Yeah. And I reckon after this lockdown, there's going to be so many 2 for 1 nights.
Yeah.
It's going to be incredible. Yeah, they're going to have to get people back in somehow, aren't they?
Well, they're going to go back in, aren't they? I don't think anyone's worried about getting people back in.
Yeah, that's true. I'm just looking forward to being able to have friends around here again and get some drinks going, underneath the night sky.
In the hot tub.
Yeah. Staring up at the stars.
A couple of bevies.
Yeah. Pointing at one of the stars and being like, hey, that star's a sun somewhere. And everyone's
trying to get all the like constellations.
Yeah.
There's Orion's belt.
Oh, there's the saucepan. There. That's the saucepan, that one.
That's fun.
What
other ones are there?
Constellations
are weird,
Yeah. There's always as well, you point at the reddest star you can see and you're like, I'm pretty sure that one's Mars. Because Mars is meant to be like a red star in the sky.
Well, it's not a star, it's a planet.
Well, yeah, but it looks like because obviously we can't see it. It's just meant to be like a red blob in the sky that looks like a star, but it's actually Mars. And there's another one which is Venus, I think. Yeah, no.
There's meant to be quite a few like things like that happening this year, like eclipses and all of that kind of stuff. There's meant to be like a fair few of those happening this year. I don't know how. I saw it on TikTok, so I don't know how true it is or if it's not.
There's one TikTok I found, and she does like things about space that no one knows, and it's always like creepy, scary things. Like one of them was
like a creepy Brian Cox.
In a way, yeah. And one of them was like some other galaxies like hurtling towards us at like millions of light years per hour. And it was like at some point it's going to hit our galaxy and both galaxies are going to collide, and there's a chance that other planets might hit us or we'll end up having our gravitational pull changed or something like that. And I was sat there like, oh my fucking God, this is crazy. Like, when's this going to happen?
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff there.
it was something like it's not going to happen for like the next 40,000 years or something like that. I was like, well, I couldn't give two shits about that at this point. Then, if I'm being honest,
Okay,
chances of that
here's a
happening for me
question.
are small.
Would you go to the moon if you could? Or like Mars? You know how like
Yes.
Elon Musk wants like there to be like space travel
Yes.
and then end up having people live on Mars
Yes.
or whatever.
Yes.
Would you be one of the people, like one of the first people to go and live on Mars?
Yes, absolutely.
Would you?
I reckon it would be. I mean, obviously, I would have. I'm trying to think because obviously the people that are going to go there are going to be people that have certain sets of skills. Like, you're not going to send someone up that's in the nicest way. You're not going to send someone up that collects rubbish for a living or is an Uber driver.
Well, that might be good. Collects rubbish on the
Collects
Mars.
rubbish, okay, yeah, maybe. But I mean, an Uber driver, you're not going to send up because what's the point? Someone
Yeah,
with skill driving around, that's not going to be something, is it? You're going to want to send people up that know like agriculture, people that know, I don't know, other stuff that
I don't
makes
know if it's gonna
sense
be.
in space.
I don't know if it will be them because, like, not everyone like that will want to go, will they?
No, but there'll be one person out there though who knows how to grow potatoes on a foreign planet that will want to go. So
Researched it for years.
yeah,
Like,
they'll be like, they've sat there in their room now, probably thinking, one day it's going to be my fucking moment, and I'm going to be able to grow potatoes on another planet. It's what I've worked my whole life for. Someone will
I
do
think
it. Someone will do
I
it.
think I would eventually, maybe not be one of the first people to go. I think it would be a cool experience in the end.
It could take a long time to get to Mars.
Yeah,
Isn't it
it'd
like?
be like
Is it like 5 or 6 years?
I don't think it's quite that. I think it's like 5 or 6 months.
Are you
I'm
sure?
not sure.
Because I thought it took 2 years for something to get there.
It depends how fast it's going, right?
Yeah, I mean, if we go quick enough, you can get there in this evening, or tomorrow evening. This evening's a bit of a long shot, but you know.
Yeah, that's how long to get to Mars? Around 7 months.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, I'd do it personally. I would. I think it would be.
The precise duration of each journey depends on when it is taken, because both Mars and Earth's orbits are not perfectly circular.
Yeah, of course. So there'll be points where they're
They're
like
further
this
away.
far away, and then points where they're like this close. Yeah, that makes sense actually. Well, you want to do it when they're like the smallest distance, then wouldn't you?
The time it takes to travel between them varies from 6 to 8 months.
Yeah, you don't want to be sat on a spaceship for longer than you need. It's like if you're going on a road trip. You don't want to. You want to take the quickest way there. You're not going to do a loop around somewhere, are you? Just because you feel like it. You just want to get from A to B as quick as possible.
I've ended up on NASA's website now.
Nice. You can have a. It's on NASA's website. You can fill out some details and get yourself a little ticket that says you're going to go to the moon.
I don't know. Probably.
I think it's NASA's website.
What am I looking at right now?
I'm not
Track the
100%
spacecraft's
sure.
flight.
I see Jam has returned. Hello, Jam.
Yeah, sorry.
Welcome back.
Would you go to Mars?
Probably not.
But you deal with solar panels. No, yes, no.
Yeah, but
yes.
That just means sunlight.
It's a little bit of difference there.
Yeah, but so you would have you'd have quite a bit of knowledge.
What about Mars?
Not
Because he deals
really.
with solar panels.
About solar panels, which would be handy on Mars because obviously you need electricity, don't you, to do things?
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's.
Would you go? What were you just saying? No to like never going, or would you go eventually if like
I think
you
just
knew
out of
enough
space
about
in
it?
general. I'm not that bothered. I'm not that invested in finding out.
Yeah.
I'm not that invested in finding out about space. I'll let other people do it.
Yeah.
It is it's always interesting when you watch these videos about space and you see how big it actually is compared to us, pretty much us. Like you see the videos and it's like, oh, this is a person, and then it's like, this is a giraffe, and you're like, oh, that giraffe's big, and then it's a giraffe compared to like the Empire State Building, and you're like, wow, that's a lot of giraffes to get that high, and then it's like the Empire State Building compared to the Earth or the Moon, and you're like,
and then it's like that big compared to like.
Yeah, and then it ends up getting to like some planet in a galaxy that's like 30 million light years away from us, and this thing's like the size of 70 Earths in one go. And you're just sat there like, this is huge.
Then again, there's so many like, I wouldn't call them conspiracy theories, but so many like different just theories about space that you don't really know which is right.
Yeah.
Isn't.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a weird one.
I definitely think there's other life forms out there. There's no way we're this small in a galaxy without there being some other place that just happens to have the right kind of living.
Yeah, I'd say for sure there's other stuff out there.
Yeah, it's nice to think there's a much more productive, successful version of myself somewhere in the universe.
We might be the only ones in our like galaxy, but
yeah,
there's other life forms out there. 100%.
The thing that always gets me though is that you get people who they believe that this is true, and then they're like, "Oh, but they're definitely way more advanced than us." And it's like, if they were way more advanced than us, surely at this point they would have found us.
Or like we'd know about them.
Yeah, or they'd have somehow like made some sort of signal. Like they might be slightly more advanced than us, but they've not everyone on that Earth is like the equivalent of Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Like they're not just so far ahead of us to the point where
maybe they're just not making any like signal or anything just because they are that much more advanced than us, and they're trying to take over, and so they're trying to blend in with us and slowly take over the world, you know?
Yeah. Seeing as Jam is currently occupied, should we mix it up a little bit and get some questions fired over from people in chat, because I know it comes up on the things, so I'm curious to see what questions we've got from people. So
we were talking about aliens.
We were, yes. So let's get some questions.
Fire some questions. Q&A time.
Yeah, Q&A. Anything you got to ask, anything.
Q&A Saturday.
As long as it's not too crazy. Who doesn't believe there are other life forms? Neither of us. We both believe there are other life forms.
I said there might not be any in the same galaxy as us, but there are definitely some out there.
Yeah, I don't think there's any in the same galaxy. I think I'd agree on that. But yeah, I think within the whole universe, there's got to be other life forms out there.
Yeah, there has to be. And that's got to take, like, to travel from one galaxy to another.
Yeah,
has to take some.
And one thing that will really interest me is, obviously, there's certain individuals out there that have, what's the best way to put it, fetishes about extraterrestrial life forms. It'd be interesting to see whether their kind of interpretations of them are anything like what we ever find.
If you believe in theory of evolution and we agree from organisms, what makes us the exception? What do you mean?
Yeah. I mean, so yeah. I mean, that kind of goes on to the point of we both believe there's other life forms. Yeah, I think there's other planets out there that probably are suited for evolution or a type of evolution, and so will eventually grow life forms from it. Probably not the same as us.
I do think we won't ever. Well, we might just see some other life form. Probably not in our lifetime.
I don't think we will in our lifetime, though.
Yeah.
I think it will be a few generations until there's ever even I think we will probably see the colonization of Mars in our lifetime.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
that we'll definitely see. But yeah, I don't think there'll be anything else in our lifetime. But I definitely think in futures lifetimes there'll be discovery of other life forms, and who knows, the end of the world maybe at that point. No one
Yeah,
really knows,
I
do
think
they?
if there are other life forms in our galaxy, then I think we will see them in our lifetime. But if there's not, and there are in other galaxies, then we won't see them.
Yeah, yeah.
Because wait, I don't know the solar system. Hold on. Which number is Mars in the solar system? Like which planet number is it?
4, or are we 4? You got Mercury.
Got
Uh,
Mercury, Venus, Earth, then Mars.
yeah, so it's 4. I was right. Get in. Let's go. I know my planets.
So if you think Earth to Mars is what did it say? 6 to 8 months away.
Yeah.
And then you've got Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune after that.
Yeah, I mean that's the other thing, isn't it? Is what obviously we look at it in the sense of Earth is like the perfect place for a life form. Like its temperature's right, the water sources.
But that's for
But that's
us.
for us.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what is there a chance that out there on Venus,
Like there could be
another life form that doesn't rely on those things to survive? Yeah, no, that would be.
or like if there could be things on Neptune that like survive in the cold or how like because it's got to
Yeah,
be super cold out there.
yeah. It would.
Um,
I don't think there's anything to the point of. I don't know. It's difficult because we do have pictures of those planets, don't we? But from a distance.
Yeah. I guess
Which,
it would go against science though if there were living things on Neptune.
yeah.
Unless they aren't made out of water.
But then I mean that's kind of how science goes. Is things don't seem like they'd fit science until one thing comes along and kind of completely breaks the whole.
It changes everything, and
Yeah.
then science is like getting redone.
I feel like some of the closer planets to us, where we've actually got pictures of their surfaces and stuff, it'd be difficult to say there's life forms on there because I feel like you'd see some form of life, like some.
Yeah.
Because obviously, if you were to take a picture of Earth at night, you'd see tons and tons of lights, which I feel like it may not be a light source as such, but you'd see some signs of life on certain planets. But then, I
Have
mean,
we
there's.
been to Venus?
Don't think so. But then, obviously, with Mars, there are signs that there was once like water on the planet, isn't there? So
Yeah. Has anyone been to Venus? So there was a space probe that crash landed on Venus in 1966.
the word "crash" worries me about it.
Yeah. I don't know where it was going if it crash landed on Venus.
Was it meant for Venus, or was it meant for the planet past Venus, and it just happened to get its trajectory wrong and saw Venus and was like, well, "Shit, it's too late now." So
Venus is not easy to visit. Its carbon dioxide rich atmosphere is 90 times as dense as ours.
also, what qualifies for a life form? I don't know. Obviously, a life form for us is what we are right now. But again, I feel like a life form could be in our science and in our.
Surely it's just something that's living.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, something that's living. But I think if you asked a lot of people that question, they'd be like, "Oh, well, it has to be something that looks like us, or like looks like anything that we've got on our planet now," which I think is wrong. I think it does just have to be something that shows signs of, being a life form.
Yeah.
Such.
But life started from a single-celled organism. If you believe in the science. Yeah.
Yeah, which I guess
And
that way you could say anything was a life. Anything kind of is a life form.
well, no, that's when life started. That's not when people started calling it a life form.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess it depends what you'd class as a life form itself. So, life actually started from alien waste being discarded and collided with our planet. We're just aware, yes, this is exactly it. This is what I'm here for. Conspiracy theories, we love them.
What is
You
life?
probably-
And what is life? This is the question I ask myself every morning when I wake up.
What is the purpose?
What is living when you are existing?
Everything.
Yes, I do find it funny how we've got this whole life situation where we're always told, oh, you know, you're so lucky to be alive at this point. Like the odds of it were amazing, and you were born in this time and era. And then you just grow up, and they're like, yeah, get to work. Like go work for someone else. Do
Well,
something.
I mean,
do something for 50 years of your life.
would you
Just-
prefer doing
just do
that,
it.
or would you prefer being in an era where life expectancy was 30, 35, and you die of something that was quite a common
Depends what-
illness?
Yeah, I mean,
Depends what I was
Or-
doing in that life.
there's
Or
pros and cons.
would you prefer to live in an environment where survival is the only thing, and you each day you don't know? This is going back, or almost, you know, this is pre.
Survival of the fittest.
This is pre-Roman, Egypt, before civilization. But
Pre everything.
But there was, you know, you've got the Bronze Age and things like that where they weren't necessarily jobs. There wasn't necessarily roles. You were in sort of small groups, but there was still basically lived every. There was no concept of time. There was no concept of season. They might have known when it was cold and when it wasn't. And you know that when you wake up in the morning, you might not go to sleep, wherever it may be, because you might savaged, might be
Think of
killed.
the adrenaline rush you'd have every
Yeah,
single day.
I
but
think
you
I
don't
quite
know
like
that, do
it,
you?
like survival.
Do you know what? This is the reason why whenever anyone asks me if you could live in a fantasy world from TV or something, what would you live in? My answer is always The Walking Dead. Do you know how much fun it'd be to roam around and just be like every single day?
I
You're
wouldn't say
like,
it would be fun. I'd say it would be exciting. Like,
isn't fun and exciting just the same thing, but
there's
worded
a
different?
slight
No.
difference.
Because you can be excited because you're excited for the fear. I mean, it's fun.
Like,
Yeah, okay. I mean, I would be excited for the fear of every single day, thinking, what's going to happen today? I'm gonna have to go out and find some food. And
I think because this, like now, it's just like other people are surviving for you in a way because they're
Soldiers.
doing the research
Oh,
for
that
you to
way.
survive.
Yeah, you know, like scientists or
Yeah.
you know, astronauts.
Whereas-
or
Like back then, it was literally just you surviving. Like you wouldn't survive for someone else, if that makes sense. It makes sense in my head, but
it's the
On
kind
the-
of concepts that I sometimes struggle to comprehend. That's why, like on the space stuff, I couldn't really input because I struggle to comprehend, especially when people talk about going back to when everything started. Or when is it all going to end? And I've watched simulations of videos of it where they've done it in a really good way, but your brain cannot comprehend how many years it is till that sort of stuff happens.
on the zombie apocalypse kind of scenario, the whole trusting people and sleeping in comfort and stuff, I think you could do. I thought it through. I thought through my survival plan for when this happens.
You're
Go
into
on,
that though,
let's
aren't you?
If this happens,
let's hear it.
yeah, I am. So I'm sat here just playing Escape from Tarkov or Siege or something like that. I don't know. And
Zombie breaks through your window. What are you doing?
Suddenly my phone buzzes, and it's a government announcement. And they're like, zombie apocalypse has started. It's here. It's happening. It's now. Rule number one: border up all the house, border up all the downstairs. You know, windows, doors. Just get it all blocked up. don't go out to shops or supermarkets or anything like that to try and get survival stuff and food to live. There's enough in a house to make it last a week or two. So just you're gonna have to ration and live off of that. And so for a week or two, live off of that, live indoors. You got everything boarded up. You can use the upstairs windows to kind of have a look out, see what's going on. And after a week or two, I feel like the whole, in the nicest way, the idiots that don't know how to survive would have died, and people that know how to survive would be kind of probably doing similar things. I think at that point it would be a case of starting to build up the defenses. I'd have one of the first things I would have done is put a car across the driveway just to ensure that there's a bit of safety there. So it'd be building up the back garden, making use of the grass, getting it ready to farm, building up the walls, making sure everything's safe, and then slowly moving from house to house along my street, clearing it out for survivors or for food. If there's survivors, help them board up their houses or move them into the one that's next door to you, so you can kind of slowly expand on your kind of kingdom. Now I live across the road from a college, so once I have enough people as a community, I'd clear that out, move into there. Then you've got a whole field full of stuff. You've got tons of room to house people in. At that point, you can start building a little community, really. So, and eventually, I think, for me, the sign that you've made it as a community in a zombie apocalypse is if you can sustainably live off of what you've got within the walls and you don't really ever have to go out. And if you can open your own casino.
Wait, what? Everything was making quite a lot of sense until that point.
I think if you can open a casino in a zombie apocalypse in your community for enough people to, enjoy and stuff, it's a nice little stress relief.
Where are they getting the money from?
You need some sort of entertainment.
Yeah, but this is it.
You wouldn't necessarily have to do it with money. You'd be able to do it with all sorts of stuff.
If you've got a casino, people need money, which it means at that point you've come up with a monetary system that everyone agrees with. So you're becoming a bit more of a society instantly because you've got that.
You can kind of create your own economy that way.
Yeah.
I feel like there's other ways of doing it than a casino.
Yeah, obviously there's other ways of doing it.
Like
entertainment, fun, isn't it?
Entertainment-wise, you could do sport. You could do like some sort of theatre performances inside.
But at the end of the day, you don't want something that makes too much noise.
It's pretty loud. A lot of people chat.
Only like if he said he has a college, you'd probably be able to do it in one of the rooms. You wouldn't have a massive
when they do theatre performances in the school, you can't hear it from outside.
Yeah, I know. I wasn't saying those examples.
You'll be able to hear the fruit machines.
Yeah.
Where are you going to get fruit machines from?
Where are you going to get a blackjack table?
You can make a blackjack table.
Where are you going to get a roulette wheel?
You can make a roulette wheel.
Or are they not best? Is the materials for that? Bear in mind, materials will be scarce.
Yeah, but this is my point. If you've got the materials to make a casino by this point, that you don't need for anything else, you've made it.
What about the kids? You're going to get kids into gambling?
No, they'll have a nursery and things like that. Again, like obviously a nursery and stuff's going to come before a casino. If you're building a casino at this point, you've built everything that's necessary. Yeah. Everything you need to survive. A school, a nursery, sports, a shooting range.
By that point, would you have been sending people out to try and scavenge like shops and that, or would you?
Yeah, I think you'd still have a team dedicated to going out, just looking around the perimeter, also looking at other places. So I think you're always going to want to have a team of people that can scavenge and go and find new survivors or things like that. But yeah, I personally think this is almost a flawless plan.
What would be your weapon of choice?
A big machete.
I'm going to say machete because they have so many uses. It's not much a weapon, it's a tool. Yeah. People go across the Amazon.
I was going to say an axe.
Yeah, I mean, an axe is still a good one. Anyone that says a gun is gonna die.
Yeah,
Mm.
ammo for that.
If you say a gun, you're gonna, not just that, it's loud. It's going to attract more. It's going to attract people. They're not necessarily going to be safe. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
if you find guns, it's
stick
good
a
to
stick a
have.
can on the end. There you go, suppressor, easy.
True. But yeah, I mean, it's
Okay, yeah. Here's one from the chat as well. Then, like, how many people would you trust?
Yeah, because there's only going to be a certain amount that you'll want. You don't want to keep
Would you
growing and
trust
growing.
everyone that you meet? Like, would you
I-
keep growing?
Do you know? I think you at this point you'd have to have like almost like a interview process. I think
On
everyone.
the apocalypse, you're taking time to interview people.
Yeah, well, you'd have a big enough squad at this point, I think.
Yeah, but
I think
like
everyone could
early
bring.
on, like early on.
I mean, early on, I think.
Actually, I feel early on is easier to trust people.
Yeah,
You'd have to work out your own sort of system in your head of a process of right,
Yeah,
I need to test this person's trust without them knowing quickly, efficiently. So I know that
yeah.
I'm not wasting time and I'm not putting myself in danger. So you'd need to put something together in your head beforehand.
yeah. But
I
I feel
think
like at the start of it, you can kind of trust people, but at the same way you can't, because everyone's going to be in a panic. There's zombie apocalypse is happening,
they
but
are.
at the same
Yeah,
time, people are going to be wanting to survive, so they are going to want to be with people.
yeah.
So
And I
think,
mean, also, without causing any issues, I do think Britain as a whole would probably be a bit more friendlier than Americans would in a zombie
yeah,
apocalypse. I would
lot-
love to see a Walking Dead
know.
UK version.
a lot less guns. So
Yeah, there'd be less guns, so instantly you're not going to have to worry about someone shooting you in the face. You know,
there's not going to be
there's
like
gonna,
M16s left, right, and center.
yeah, there's going to be troublemakers that you're going to come across, but I think it'd be easier to deal with than if you were in America per se.
If you're trying
But
to survive, you'd kill people to do it. Would you though?
I don't think you necessarily
Would
would.
you get rid of your biggest chance of survival?
Yeah, I don't. I think that everyone would be able to. Goes back to my point with Mars in a sense. I think everyone brings something to the table, and I think at that point, if a zombie apocalypse happens, you've got to find out what people's skills are, what they're good at. You know. So if you came across someone and they were like, "Oh, before this happened, I was a nurse,"
Perfect.
instantly you've got a nurse there,
Yeah.
and her husband might have been a security guard, which is great because it means he can either be a guard within the community or he might be willing to be on the squad that goes out and does some recon missions.
What are you
Yeah.
offering in return for these people? Is it just safety?
Survival. And
Survival,
safety, yeah.
safety, a community, somewhere where they can sleep at night without the fear of having to not make it through the night.
The only reason why I say is because when you were talking about how would you sort of vet people to get in, my first thought was, well, you could have like a mini security team or like a small team of people who are your sort of defendants. But instantly I thought no, because that's how power struggles start. Look at
But then
a lot of places in the world right now.
Yeah.
They're doing exactly the same thing, but in a non-combative method and a non-crisis.
I think everyone could bring something to the table.
Yeah.
Even, and this sounds, it sounds a bit dodgy, but even someone that maybe, I don't want to say is a drug dealer, but I mean someone that was a drug dealer beforehand. Obviously, at this point, they're not going to be able to get.
You mean
go on
someone
drugs.
who's worked in a commerce environment in terms of
Sure, someone that's
they've-
been self-employed in e-commerce.
so they've worked in a market, so you can sort of use
Yeah,
them
someone.
to.
Yeah, they could
They
potentially.
have retail experience.
Yes,
Let's say that.
They could potentially run a shop. They could potentially be the person that maybe when produce and items come in from recon missions and scout missions, they could be the one that kind of deals with them and sends them off to the right places. everyone's got a skill.
Sounds like you
learn
just
what
want a
they've done.
distribution manager.
I'm
I mean, yeah,
also
that's what they could be.
Who exist in everyday manufacturers and importers and export companies all over the world. Like it's almost like a very everyday job.
They
we're
do,
just
but
gonna start a massive drug ring.
what if you don't come across a distribution manager before you come across one of them?
You do it yourself. I'm sure you'd learn.
And right. So they were also saying about like people would kill to survive and all that.
No, it's not. I look.
and
I
then-
understand why people have said that, and having
Yeah,
watched
I know,
enough.
but it's not that I was wanting to touch on. It's after it's like it only takes you second guessing for 1 second to take a bullet in the face, and your wife and kids are dead too.
It's
a zombie apocalypse. You are going to lose people.
You're
If
going
you
to lose
think
people.
You're going to get out of it.
You're gonna lose friends. You're gonna lose family. You're gonna lose
Yeah.
sort of leaders of the group. So
And
you just have to
also-
learn to deal with it.
And also, the way Welly set it up was that he was going to like his neighbor's house. It's not like this.
Yeah, I'm not going out to anywhere. Like to begin with, it's just
He-
neighbours in the local area. Until that
He's
community gets bigger
gonna-
and bigger and bigger, and you widen your.
Yeah, one person.
area.
If you have like over
Yeah.
100 people, one
Yeah.
person is not going to take you on, and
Exactly.
you just make
Yeah.
you'd have to interact a policy if no one goes around on their own. Go in twos,
Yeah.
you go in threes, you go in fours, or whatever, at all times.
But the chances of you constantly going out in places in England or Britain and coming across groups that have guns, that have, full police armor and stuff is so slim because it's not a big thing here. So for me, it's not been something that's.
You may very well come across mercenaries, not mercenaries, but
Yeah.
unorganized.
Yeah, I mean,
if you put it this way, if I was to describe what the group that you're trying to make is a tribe or a clan, this is sort of
Yeah.
harping back to how life used to be when you think about the zombie apocalypse. This is what it used to be like. You had in a lawless world where society was still very unorganized and there wasn't structures in place like we have now. I'm talking back, going early Bronze Age, maybe even earlier, maybe even cavemen type times. You would have had groups of people that then became tribes, like nowadays, that then became ethnic groups, exactly, etc.
Yeah.
But you would have then had groups of, I don't want to call them mercenaries, but I want to call them sort of just groups of yobs that would just go around killing anyone, and would be a very loosely knit group in that they're just there to scavenge and thief and take
But
off.
then it's also like if you're letting someone into a little like safe like haven place that you've created, you're not gonna let them in just without like searching them or anything. You're probably gonna strip them down of everything.
Yeah, I feel like the vetting process is going to have to be quite lengthy.
Like you take away like any sort of like harmful objects that they have, and you make them earn your trust. You probably don't have to trust them at first, but you can let them in with absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
And
I do
let them
think
earn
that
trust.
the whole idea and I think the vision of someone actually seeing a working community, though, I think even if they were slightly on the barbarian side of things, I think once they see that there's kind of that actual outlook of a community and they've seen that it's actually a thing, I think you would start to see a bit more of a empathy person come from it. I think that kind of barbarianness would start to slowly kind of dwindle away. Sure, you'll probably get at one point you're going to come across someone that is just a complete nut job, and you're probably going to have to deal with them one way or another.
You're probably going to lose crucial members of your team like that, just like that.
But again, like Dunk said, it's a zombie apocalypse. You've got to be willing to lose people.
You can't go into it thinking
just take out the zombies in like the zombie aspect of it, because this is I'm not saying it's a real possibility, but in 250 years time, I'm thinking sort of Fallout era type of nuclear fallout, or not even nuclear fallout, but just society collapses, whether it's climate change, whether it's something like a pandemic, wink wink, or just some sort of disaster that renders society as we know it useless,
it's bound to happen at some point,
and it breaks apart, and then you end up in this situation, and it's almost like a cycle where then people try and rebuild it, and they just start again, and then it's just the next era.
Yeah, it will be because it will just be like you said, going back before anything, like when it was just survival. It'll be like that, but like a refreshed version, and then it'll build up from there.
It
And
might
then it'll
not last.
probably
It might be completely different.
yeah, and then another like long period of time. I don't know how long, but like it will happen again. It'll break down and it'll start back up. It's bound to happen.
Like,
Luckily for us, I don't think it's going to be something that happens in our lifetime. So
yeah,
I think it would. I think it would be cool to live out.
it would be. Yeah, again, this is
if I
why
if I had a free rewind back to the present day
Yeah.
at any point,
yeah, I do genuinely think that I would
I'm
actually.
that's not me saying I want it to happen.
Yeah,
and
I would
want to
just
live
be
through it.
excited
I
and I
think
would make the most of the opportunity. I think if something like that was to come along, I my mind would be thrilled by the idea of trying to survive in that way. Not that I want it to happen, because there's obviously comforts that we have nowadays, like what we're doing now,
well, yeah.
which you wouldn't be able to do at all.
I mean, the one big difference I can see back in those days, and I'm not saying this is sort of a criticism or anything. It's a mere observation, and it's how it started. People started groups based on how they looked. So, for example, if we go, I don't even know how to word it in a way that's not sounding sort of wrong, but
You'd like to think, though, at this point, if something like that happened,
that's my point.
history
It
would
wouldn't
change.
happen if you were to make a group like you say. It wouldn't be all white British. But back in those days, that's how it started.
Yeah, of course.
You'd have
That's
tribes that
obviously-
were all the same sort of people. I mean, granted, they kind of maybe had been all related at that point, or in one way sort of inbred, hence why you get ethnicity groups as they are. But like when you really break it down, I'm talking sort of Germanic tribes where it would have all had similar characteristics in how they looked. Tribes from Asia, tribes from South America, tribes from Africa. All that would have been something they had in common that probably would have been a way that they can bring them in, and you only really didn't bring people in if they didn't look like you, if that's real. But if this was to happen, as you said, this wouldn't happen. You wouldn't judge someone based on how they look. Well, you're a racist group. You might.
It still happens now with obviously there's still tribes out there. There's
I don't think they're recruiting though. I don't think they're bringing people in.
There's a tribe in the Indian Ocean, isn't there?
They
live on a little island off of the coast, and if anyone goes near the island, they will just pelt you with arrows.
They are,
and they're not afraid to just kill people.
No one goes there. They are.
I
know a little. I know a little bit about them. So
someone did a video. Someone actually was allowed to go there and made a video about it.
Yeah. So
I saw that there was one guy that tried to go there and he got killed because of it.
Yeah, so the tribe that you're talking about are called the North Sentinelese. They're based off of the Sentinel Island, North Sentinel Island, which is part of the Andaman Islands in the Indian Ocean. It's politically a part of India, but the tribe have rejected all forms of contact with the modern world, so much so that they kill on sight, and they are prepared to. I think they are aware, but they are like a lot of tribes like to come out and try and interact with the modern world. These are very happy with staying as they are, and all forms of contact that people have tried to have with them have not worked. Now, the example that you're talking about, Welly, is a missionary. So it's illegal. Like the Indian state have made it illegal for people to contact them because they know how dangerous it is. And this Christian missionary, or missionary, however you pronounce it, paid some fishermen to take him there with a Bible, and he was killed because. But there is videos of the people initiating contact with coconuts, and they'll sort of pass it over. But they are one of the few remaining tribes that have been completely uncontacted. They believe that there is only a few hundred of them left, maybe only a couple of thousand, and they need to be kept.
Sorry, I spilled a drink.
Yeah, I could sort of see your face sort of was sort of like, oh, no one better notice. But no, I find that sort of stuff. I find uncontacted tribes and stuff like that really fascinating. especially like
it is quite cool. I think one of the cool things about it is that they have just kind of been left to themselves when, let's be honest, any powerhouse in the world at this point could.
Because they don't, there's no point,
I did
if the
thing.
Indian army really wanted to take that land for whatever reason, they would bomb the island and everyone would die.
They could do it.
But there's no point.
One thing I did find quite funny about it is, I obviously I don't know how many people use Snapchat, but obviously one of the things on Snapchat that you can do is go onto the maps and zoom into locations, and people can put things on their story that happens to come up on that location.
Yeah, there's like a public story that you can.
Yeah, and there is a public story for the middle of that island, and it's people taking the piss, and it's just, yo, here with my boys sat on Xbox playing some Call of Duty, and it's just pictures of people playing Call of Duty and stuff, and they've tagged their location as this island, and I'm just like, oh, this is hilarious, because this island never, ever, ever is going to have this stuff. But
you could do that. People probably do the same with the poles, the North Pole, like, oh, it's a bit cold here in my tent. Or my house. But no, I mean, there's the tribes in general. Like, I know a lot of the ones in the Amazon have been contacted, and people have been saying with all the corona stuff in that they are some of the people that need to be vaccinated first, because they will be completely wiped out by it. And even some tribes have even got it.
Carl Pilkington went to a
he did, yeah,
cannibal tribe, didn't he?
Well, a former cannibal. A lot of them have been. Like, they are some of the tame ones. The ones in Papua New Guinea. Now, Papua New Guinea is a country with a stupidly high amount of different tribes and languages that it's almost incomprehensible. Like, there's so many that live in the rainforests of Papua New Guinea, and they are really, like, some of them have obviously had human contact, but they are like wild. They're masked. They're probably still cannibal. They will probably try and hack you if you they'll. I think there was a video of an old BBC documentary photographer that went. This one particular one, and they went after them, and then they just, like, there was people scurrying around in the bushes by them, and shots like arrows fired, and yeah, it was very. It's cool and it's interesting, but there's a reason why they don't. And
it's quite an interesting thought to think that we have so much technology and futuristic stuff to our advantage right now, and there's so much on the doorstep of things that are going to happen. Yet there's still tribes out here that just live like,
because that's all they know, or that's all as much as they want to do, because they believe that exactly. If they don't, especially some of the smaller ones, they'll lose their heritage, they'll lose their skill craft, they'll lose their culture.
Yeah.
I mean, there's tribes out there that have got electricity and a computer and wear modern clothes, and they've lost a little bit, I think, of their identity. They'll still be belonging to a tribe. They might still speak a language, but because they've gone out into the modern world and embraced it, and people might have gotten very ill from it or might have passed away from it, but they will have lost a lot of that. What makes them them?
If this was a game of Civilization, I mean, the tribes would be gone 1000 BC. But,
well, true, yeah.
It's just not though, is it?
It's not a game of Civ, unfortunately. No, it's not. But yeah, no, it's interesting to think that there's obviously, we've had the whole conversation about space and how big space is and the idea of other life forms out there, and then there's the whole bringing it back down to earth with the most basic of tribes that still live right here on this planet in many places, such as the Amazon, which the Amazon terrifies me. I'm never going to go to the Amazon rainforest.
No, same. So I don't.
Yeah.
South America doesn't really appeal to me. Sorry if you're South America.
I really want to go to South America, but just not
parts of South America, yes. Yeah, the Amazon, absolutely not. The thing that scares me most about the Amazon is, and I'm sure you boys are aware of this, there happens to be a fish within the Amazon that if you urinate within the river or the rivers within the Amazon, this is where this fish lives.
I know what you're going to say.
It swims up inside you.
Yeah.
And
Carl Pilkington.
Yeah. Yes, and it has, like, it has almost like hooks on the front of it, and it hooks into you. And if you try and pull it out, its hooks obviously like
Oh god.
scrape, and so you have to get it surgically removed. And
But
it's
it was just the Carl Pilkington quote, and it's like there's fish in the Amazon that go up your knob. Why would I want to be there when even the fish don't want to be there? They'd rather live in me knob.
I mean, it's a fair point. It terrifies me. It absolutely terrifies me.
Deep sea creatures terrify me though. Like I'm talking deep sea where there's like no light, because they've adapted in their ways of how to survive, which has meant some of them have turned out proper free.
Like the giant squid.
Well, that's tame compared. I'm talking some of these weird ass.
Are you talking these weird ones with like light bulbs on their head?
Well, even that, but some of them are just adapt because they just have to adapt.
The one with the light bulb on his head.
There are ones that have got like lights emitting from them.
It's not that weird. The one with the light bulb on his head.
It's pretty weird.
It's quite common.
Yeah, it's pretty weird though.
It's weird, but it's quite a common fish.
But it looks creepy.
Yeah.
Like if you were just swimming in the sea one day, and
just look, if you see one of that. Just Google deep sea creatures and go on the images, like repulsed by what you see. And a lot of them are real
deep sea creatures,
and they all are only like that because of how they've adapted over millions of years. Because these are some of the first creatures there are on this planet, and they've adapted to live like that, and some of them are tiny and some of them are giant.
They do look pretty fucked up.
Yeah.
Have you ever had monkfish before?
I don't know.
Can't say I have.
Because if you have, like, just search monkfish. It's a very popular fish to eat.
Yeah.
But it just looks not like a fish that
you'd
eat.
There's that blobfish, isn't there? The one that was the meme at one point.
Yeah.
Doesn't catfish have like a really distinct look as well? I also don't know.
Yes. Monkfish look
very catfish
strange.
have got the like the whiskers.
Yeah.
Like
that's why, funnily enough, that's why they're called catfish.
Oh. Well, that explains it.
Because they're similar to cats.
What about dogfish?
They're, funnily enough, very similar to dogs.
Do they have a tail?
If you throw a tennis ball, they will bring it back.
Dogfish. Tiny dogfish.
If you throw a tennis ball to it,
it looks nothing like a dog.
Just because it doesn't look like a dog doesn't mean it acts like a dog.
Like a dog.
Some dogs don't look like dogs.
That's true.
Yet they're still dogs. Dogfish. Yeah, I mean a dogfish looks more like a shark, but
worst ones are when fish or sea creatures have got not anything on like the top of the head; it's all underneath. Like two of the thing I feel like I have maybe three phobias in this.
Stingrays,
snakes, stingrays,
yeah,
jellyfish. Now stingrays, if you look from below, what the is going on under that stingray? Because that is not a face.
One of my biggest fears is the ocean. So
I love the ocean. That's weird because you live.
I like it if you can see in the water.
I've just
when it's like deep and dark water. Then
I remember because I remember in the not early days, but back at the back end of last year, Dunk was streaming the Call of Duty.
Yeah.
And there's a map on it where you jump in the sea, and I kept getting him to jump in the sea, and every time he jumped in, he was like, "Oh, I gotta get out!" He has it like, "Quick, I gotta swim out quick."
Dark water, I just cannot do.
I love the sea, but I hate heights. I can't do. I remember going to Paris at one point. And I went up the Eiffel Tower.
Was that on your own?
And no, it was not. No, it wasn't. And I genuinely couldn't actually step near the barriers of the Eiffel Tower. I had to be like 2 or 3 yards back because I couldn't bring myself.
I've been up the Empire State, and you just look down and think.
I've not been up a tall building.
This is it. I'd love to go to the Empire State. I'd love to go to the Burj Khalifa. I'd love to go to these places and actually see them.
Burj Khalifa's a hotel. You're fine.
I trust me.
I still go up it.
Yeah, someone could take me to the top of the Shard, and I would still stand at the top of there, and I'd be like,
What if you had a hotel room in the Burj Khalifa and they just kept the curtain shut the entire time, but you're at the top?
Be fine.
Yeah, that would
You
probably
just go
I'd be
in the
fine.
elevator.
Yeah, it'd be fine because I wouldn't actually. But like, I couldn't. I'd be fine in the room with the curtains open. What I couldn't do is step near to the window because I'd be like, in my head, I know it doesn't happen, but I'd step near it and I'd be like, shit, what if this is the one time the window breaks and I fall out?
Do you still get that even in your own home when you're in the upstairs?
Well, no. So this is it. Like, I could walk across a bridge, across a road, or something like that, and I'm absolutely fine. I don't know why. It seems to be as soon as I get to a certain height where I feel like, oh my god, if I fall from here, I'll die.
So basically, a
start to get the
3-story
fear.
building.
Yeah, as soon as it's anything taller than that is when I'm like,
Yeah.
shit. If it's anything lower than that, like I can't get on a ladder to the top of my roof because it scares me.
It's like something you could just like if you would like just slide off. Then
Yeah.
if you could land it, then it's fine.
If my roof was flat, I could stand on there, no problems at all.
Yeah.
If there were barriers there, if there were no barriers, I probably actually wouldn't be able to get near the edge. I'd probably still be a little bit like, but yeah, I don't know what it is. It's just as soon as it gets to a height where I feel like I could die, I'm done.
What about in football stadiums then? Because some football stadiums you can look down and go, Jesus.
Oh yeah. This is
St James's Park in Newcastle, for instance.
I'm a Man United fan. I go to Old Trafford. Like it's the biggest stadium three times actually. But I mean, even Wembley. I've been to Wembley, and actually, to be fair, Wembley, when I sat up near the top, going up the stairs in Wembley was a little bit iffy because the steps there are so sharp. It's just
Wembley's quite steep, isn't it?
Yeah, Wembley is so steep. Like especially when you get up towards the top.
Planes. You look out of a plane window.
Yeah, but then planes I'm fine with because I
Planes
understand.
I'm more worried about crashing than falling out.
See, I love planes. The idea of crashing anything doesn't ever bother me. But let's be honest,
it never bothers me. But that's the thing that I'd worry about in planes would be crashing.
The worst bit for me of a plane is you've taken off and you're climbing to whatever you need to get, and the plane is at like full whack, and it just feels like, you know, when you're in a shitty car in like second gear going up a hill and you think this might not make it. Sometimes in the plane you're just like, the plane's just going, but it's like proper getting up there. You look down, and sometimes maybe you're like banking or something as well. You just sort of, this should just stop.
It's when you're going into land and they have to circle. Have you been on a plane when they've had to do that?
But I don't remember it being
they go like this.
Oh yeah.
And they'll circle like that, and they'll go like fully like to the side, and you can just look to your left, and it will be straight down.
I've been in a plane before that was coming into land, was probably about 100 feet above the runway, ready to touch down, and at the last second had to pull straight back up because another plane was pulling out onto the runway. Even that, it shook me a little bit at the time, but that didn't bother me.
I mean, I think I've had one questionable landing in my life, and we were flying into.
See, I haven't.
We were flying into somewhere, and I just remember thinking, it might have even happened twice now. But there's just been occasion I'm thinking we've hit the ground so hard, and then there was one time when I thought we've landed, we hit it pretty hard, and he's absolutely charged the brakes. So I'm thinking you've absolutely overdone this, haven't you, son? And he was so firm on the brakes, it's like he's definitely overcooked it. And that's the only time I've ever thought he has properly overcooked. But I mean, going on to like the floating thing, when you get turbulence go up and down, you go ooh, and it's almost like being on like a bridge on a road where you go over it and you think, oh right, it's going to even out again. And then you realise there's no bottom. You're in the sky.
I'm so comfortable with flying.
Yeah, I love it.
I am pretty comfortable with flying. Don't get me wrong.
You have a couple of drinks in the airport, a couple of drinks on the plane.
Yeah,
you're sorted.
The thing, what's good
a couple of these little mini gins. And you're fine.
I love flying, but oh my god, I'm a sucker for the airport process before.
Oh, I love airports. I love airports.
Weirdly enough, even when I leave the airport there, I just love the process of getting there, checking your bags in, going through
You
security.
just know you're on holiday.
I love getting up
to
early.
the lounge. Yeah, holiday is the only time where I could go to bed at midnight, 1 a.m. and I will still be up at 6, 7 a.m. the next day because I'm like,
Yeah.
right, it's holiday,
Yeah.
gotta be up.
When I for a
Yeah,
time when
leaving
I
the
was
house
a
while
kid,
it's
I
still
wanted to
dark,
work at
and
an
it's like,
airport just to sort of get that sort of feeling.
It's so like, yeah, literally, I will never get up at 2, 3 a.m.
and
If I'm
when
going on holiday, get me up at 2 a.m. I'm buzzing. I'm up and I'm like, right,
like
come on, then, let's go.
if you're going to a hot country, it's like when you like get off the plane into the little tunnel, you can feel the heat instantly.
That is no, because what happens then is when you land and you step off the plane and it hits you, you're like, oh god, this is much hotter than I'd planned
Nah,
for.
because you go like say, like we went. Me and my family went to Turkey in 2018. I think you just go and you wear shorts.
No,
Even
yeah.
like,
You don't dress up for the
it's
plane.
like
You
34 in the
never
morning
dress
in
up
the
for it.
UK. It's pissing it down with rain. It's like 7 degrees outside, and you're like, right, I'm wearing shorts to the airport.
shorts,
Flip-flops.
sliders, everything.
I mean, I went to Berlin in 2019, and so somebody asked when do you schedule it. The reason why they're scheduled early morning is because they're cheaper, and you get more out of the day.
You get more out of your
It just
holiday.
feels so much better early morning.
But so in 2019 when I went to Berlin with my friends, our flight was scheduled for either 6 or 6:30, which meant getting to the airport for about 4:30. And no doubt I had my first ever 5 a.m. pint, and I felt it was the most surreal experience because the place was packed. It was like a Monday morning in July, 5 a.m. It's rammed.
Yeah.
It's
So
bizarre. Like a different world.
When we went to Japan, it was like I think the flight was like early in the morning, like 5 or 6 as well. You should get there just like, let's have a pint. It may or may not be 5 or 6 a.m.
It would cost 3 times it would than it was outside the airport.
I'm not used to either, but one of the things I love doing when I go on holiday, and I could do this outside of the airport because it'd be cheaper, but I always buy myself a book in the airport.
I never fall for that because why? But I have books at home I could bring with me.
Yeah, but this is it. I have books here that I could so easily bring with me, but I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna buy a book in the airport.
It's such a con. Like W.H. Smith must make most of his money from airports. The one mistake I make is I buy too much food. Like most of the time we're not getting a meal. I don't really like airline food anyway. But I've made the mistake in the past, especially on the way back, where I always buy too much chocolate, eat a load, feel sick, and there was one occasion when we were flying back somewhere to Birmingham, and and you know when you eat too much and your stomach feels a bit iffy.
Why would you fly to Birmingham?
Because our flight to Manchester got cancelled, so we had to rebook in like 2 hours. But yeah, I ate too much chocolate, and I felt I'd already been once, and my stomach felt a bit iffy, and the seatbelt sign was on. I was like, oh my god, this is going to be the most painful experience ever. And then we had to catch a train, like immediately, and we're running through the airport, and I'm just thinking, I'm panicking we missed the train, and I was like, thank fuck for that. And I was just like, I could not go on a train after that. It was a very stressful journey that entire time.
The only thing I do like about airplane food is the little like pots of dessert that you get,
or a little bit of Cadbury,
or the bread and butter.
Yeah, bread and butter.
I had to be fair though, my first ever time I went abroad was to the Canary Islands on Thomas Cook, which is obviously doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
And we had airline food. It was I was a kid, and the smell was, oh god, it was awful.
To be fair, their lunches aren't terrible. Their breakfast is mediocre. It's the evening meals that just.
I think it was a lunch, but the next time I went abroad, like the year later, I was adamant to my parents, please do not get me food. I will not eat it. But I went with British Airways to New York once. The food was
British
excellent.
Airways
I had maybe a chili or like a stew. Lovely, really nice. Bit of bread.
We went to America as well, and it was good food.
I think most people nowadays just eat before the flight, no matter what
Yeah,
time it is.
you get a Burger King, you
Yeah.
get a McDonald's, you get whatever. Most of the time, it's because it's not. You get something that's not available. You wouldn't normally get outside of the airport. Like
because I remember
the crust doesn't exist outside of the airport.
2019 when I went to Cape Verde. I was flying from Gatwick, and my flight was at about 9:30 in the morning, so nothing too crazy. I think we got there for about 6:30. Now I don't know if either of you have had it, but a Wagamama's breakfast.
Oh Christ!
I'm not. No.
Unbelievable.
Do you mean as in a
So
Wagamama's
good.
for breakfast or a Wagamama's breakfast menu?
As in Wagamama's have a breakfast menu,
I feel like that's something Dunk would love.
and it
Being a
is
connoisseur of
so
Japanese
It sounds good.
so good, so good. Oh my god!
What did they even do for breakfast?
It was actually just a full English, but there was one
What?
twist to it, which was like it was Wagamama's, and I can't remember what it was now. And I'm gonna Google it and tell you.
I mean,
because-
I had when me and my friend, because I was going to Tenerife with some friends as part of a uni trip. Me and one friend went from a different airport because we were locations, and I was like, right, I'm having a cider with a full English, and it cost like 12 quid. It was such a below par.
See, if I get breakfast in the airport, I'll probably usually just get like some pastries or something from like a Cafe Nero. Or like...
I go full English all the time.
It depends on what I'm feeling. I'd have a burger. I went when coming back from Berlin. It was like
I'd have
11.
a burger.
It's like 11 a.m. Burger King. But it was something. Have you ever had any sort of nightmare like situations in terms of traveling back? Because I've had at least two. So the first one was
What do you mean?
as in like cancellations and stupid timings and stuff.
Luckily, never had cancellation. I've had stupid times. I've had 2 flights which have landed at about 3 or 4 in the morning.
So I've had on the way back from the Canaries the very first time. Our flight was a night flight from like 10 at 10. But bear in mind, I'm like 2006, so I'm about 9, 10 at this point. I'm fairly new to the airport experience. And our flight home is at like 10, half 10 at night, and I'm thinking, okay, we land at 4 or 5 a.m. The flight gets pushed back to like 2:30, and what I remember from that is I ate for my tea that night. I had a very small can of Pringles and a muffin, and I had a sleep on the chairs in the airport, and it was the worst sleep ever. I was so uncomfortable, but I slept. And then the other one that was bad was the one I sort of alluded to, where we had to fly back to Birmingham. So we were in Vienna, me, my uncle, and my cousin for something. We'd been to Hungary, and Vienna was closer. I had a flight from Vienna at just a normal time, and then it's baking hot as well. And in the middle of the night, my uncle says, "Oh, they've cancelled it. This is at like 6 a.m. or something. They've just cancelled it. No reason, they've just cancelled it, and you couldn't refund it." And we had to rebook a flight that day because we hadn't had any accommodation, or for the next day.
Yeah.
And that it only went to Birmingham. We had to fly to Birmingham. We had to then had to get on a train back to Manchester. Rammed this train. It's red hot. The whole day of travelling felt like it was at least 12 hours, and we're only going from Austria back to the UK. I had to get like 2 trains. They had to get 2 trains where they had to get 3 trains because they live in a different part, and they missed one of them. Their journey was even more nightmarish. But yeah, I've had it's all part of the experience, but it's awkward.
I had one flight where I'd been to Lanzarote with a couple of my mates, and our flight back was at probably about 11:30 UK time, and obviously that's like a 4.5 hour flight, so it was like a proper early morning landing, and my mate had booked seats towards the back of the plane, which for anyone that doesn't know and isn't aware, late night flights, the reason that seats are empty towards the back of the plane, except maybe the back row or 2, is because that's where parents sit when they have newborn babies, because they feel like that's the furthest part that they can be away from everyone. And so my mate had booked maybe 2 or 3 rows in front of this screaming kid the whole way. And I'm 6 foot, so for me, planes like are quite uncomfortable
Yeah.
to begin with anyway. Like they can be uncomfy. And I was just sat there the whole time, and there was just this kid crying for probably a good 2 hours of the flight. And it was just, we landed, and I was just so drained. And my dad picked me up, and I think I just fell asleep in the car, and I don't think I got up until probably like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It was the worst.
I've just remembered some other ones that sort of travel stuff. So I remember when we flew back from New York on a college trip. Not to go to college. We had to pay, and I remember on the flight there, it was like an early morning flight, and we'd get into New York around mid-afternoon. That sound. So I'm up at like 4:30 or whatever we need to be, 5:30. Get to the airport, get on the plane, no issue. It's an 8-hour flight, 7-hour flight. I can't sleep. Or if I can, I'm not able to because I'm probably wearing contact lenses. If I fall asleep, then I'm in trouble. Well, they're just awkward. So everyone has some sort of sleep because it's like an 8-hour flight. We land, we have a full day. And I remember we were coming back from dinner on the first night, and I'd realised I haven't slept in 24 hours. Because it's soon coming up to midnight in America, which is 5 a.m. in the UK. And I got up at 5 a.m. UK the day before. I've not slept for the entire 24 hours, and I just remember absolutely collapsing.
Nice.
But I remembered another sort of travel one, and it was we were going to Lithuania with a school trip thing, but there's no direct flights from Manchester to Lithuania. So we had a changeover in Copenhagen, and it was probably the whole travel time is probably only like 4 hours or so. It's like 2 hours first half, 2 hours a second. We get into Copenhagen, it's like 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. And I remember there's only a few of us are all sort of milling around waiting. And I remember looking up at the board and going, right, where are we going? Palanga. Go across, where is it? There it is, 10:45. Cancelled. And I looked again and thought, okay, Palanga, 10:45. Cancelled. I go, hang on a minute. And then I sort of go, is that our flight there that's cancelled? There's not many others that are cancelled. Is that our flight there that's cancelled? And they go, oh yeah. Miss, can you come and have a look at this? Is that our flight cancelled? And the panic that ensued from that, because there's only about 5 to 8 of us, but this is like the first sort of trip of its kind. And the panic after that of the teachers go, right, what do we do? So what ended up happening was the flight had been cancelled for whatever reason. They had to find us a hotel to go into and a flight the next day. We ended up going into some Radisson Blu, which we were told was 5-star. I come to remember it now, it probably wasn't. It was probably like 4. It was decent.
Oh, God forbid you got put in a 4-star hotel. Oh my God.
It was like sort of near the airport, and then we had a night in Copenhagen, and we had a morning there when we had to get.
I'd have demanded all my money back.
So I officially can say I've been to Copenhagen, and then so off the flight the day after, there wasn't a direct flight there. So we had to fly to the other side of Lithuania, the capital. We're going to the western side. This is on the far eastern side. We land in Vilnius, and we're told, okay, we're getting a train, 2-hour train across the country. Fine, okay. Get there. Oh no, we're going on our coach. And I'm thinking, you are kidding. It was 4 hours on a coach going through Lithuania in April. Now, Lithuania in April has just come out of like the winter, so everything is wet, everything is grey, everything is dead. The landscape you have never seen so depressing in your life. We're on a coach with about 5 to 10 of us, and there's some Lithuanian men chatting, and we don't understand it. Stop off once at some weird looking service station. It was hell.
Yeah, do you know what? I don't know what it is with school flights, but when I went to Barcelona, it wasn't too bad because there's only really one.
It only ever goes wrong when kids fly together. Like when we went to New York, people didn't sit in the right seat. Bear in mind, it's a public flight. You're meant to sit in where you go. People just go, I want to sit with my friends, and it just panic ensues. Teachers are telling people off. They're trying to not make us look stupid in front of the public, and
Yeah, but weirdly enough, when I flew to Poland, for some reason we went to Krakow, and I don't know why, but the airport we flew into was a 3-hour coach journey outside of Krakow. So we flew into this airport and then got on a coach and sat on a coach for 3 hours to drive to the hotel. When there's probably like 2 or 3 other airports closer to Krakow that we could have flown into. It baffles me why. I know they do it to make it the cheapest thing possible, but oh my god, like you'd think at some point they'd be like, yeah, maybe a 3-hour coach journey for kids after a flight isn't the best of things to do.
Does it?
Yeah, no. But I mean, when I went to Barcelona in year 10, and it was absolutely fine. Like there were no issues at all.
Yeah, I haven't had really any nightmarish experiences. The closest one is probably we had like a flight that was delayed by like 4 hours, so we were stuck waiting for 4 hours 4 hours extra in a airport. Or there was one, it wasn't really nightmarish, it was just kind of funny. It was on the way when we were about to get our flight home from Japan. In Japan they have like fermented fish, like delicacies.
Yeah,
where you can get like various ages of fermented fish, and we went to a place which had like 3-year-old fermented fish, which is disgusting.
yeah, that sounds
not sure why they do it. It's like that Swedish dish, the like, one that like stinks.
Yeah, I've smelled it. It's disgusting.
We had well, one of the people that I went on the trip with tried this like 3-year-old fermented fish, didn't like it, spat it out in a napkin and rolled it up, put it in his pocket because there wasn't a bin around. There aren't any bins in Japan, like any public bins in Japan, just because of how clean it is. So he put it in his like pocket and completely forgot about it. And then
how can you forget it was rotten in your pocket?
How do you forget this 3-year-old fish in your pocket?
It was in like his coat pocket, so it wasn't.
Did you not smell it?
Oh,
not really.
How long did he forget?
Well, we found it in the airport in his coat pocket, in his suitcase,
Oh.
because we could smell something, and we were like, we don't know where it's coming from. So he opened up his suitcase, kept smelling stuff, and everything smelled so bad. And then he found the tissue, and it was disgusting.
Did that happen to be just like Carl Pilkington, the fish dish that started sushi, which is just this fermented, rotted piece of fish in a wooden box that was apparently the delicacy. It was the thing that started sushi off, and it comes in this nice box.
It's what people eat over there. People eat like fermented fish over there, and it's just not good.
That is disgusting.
Well, I don't criticize them for eating it because we eat pickled stuff, which probably to them tastes awful. Or
I mean,
but
to them it's probably nothing. To them, they probably just
I mean, I'm not saying to them it's like I'm not saying what they eat is disgusting. Like obviously every culture's got different things, but to wrap it in tissue and forget about it until you get back on the plane,
just swallow it. I don't know. I just
no, by all means put it in a tissue, but put it in a bloody.
But we were like walking around like this like little town, and like I said, there's no like public bins anywhere.
But surely once you go back to the hotel, there's a bin in the hotel.
Yeah, but by then surely you forget.
I don't know, because if you could smell
it. I don't know. If you know there's rotting fish in your pocket, I think I'd remember, I've got to get rid of this rotting fish at some point.
I'd remember, because you keep things in your pockets, like your phone. If you pull your phone out and you smell it, you can smell it.
How many days were between?
It's a different pocket.
How many days were between this happening and when you went home?
Like 1 or 2.
Because surely at some point his room must have started to smell.
I don't know. It happened. It got there somehow.
I just think back to Carl Pilkington again and think when he had this dish, it was like proper nice ceremony. It's a nice box. He goes, "Don't get me wrong, the presentation's lovely. These lot, but that lid should be back on, nailed down, and buried." And it's just like that.
It's true. I mean, I don't understand this whole delicacy of it in Sweden. I do not get why this.
That is
fermented
something you have to handle with gloves, because if you get that on anything, it
stinks. It smells.
most of the
So
food there is
bad.
nice, but it's just some of it is just
So
strange.
bad. Yeah, but I guess every country has its weird,
We
smelly
definitely do.
food. Yeah, we do.
I don't know
We
what, but I'm sure we do. What do
do.
we have?
Probably to other
I mean,
people.
pickled onions is probably a bit of a weird one. Someone that doesn't know what pickled onions are.
Pickling makes sense because pickling preserves food.
It does,
fermenting
yeah.
things doesn't preserve it, unless you're, I suppose, maybe drying it out.
It's like the whole thing about cheese and wine.
Not with fish. Fish has a.
What's the whole thing with cheese and wine?
Well,
Well,
it's fermented, isn't it?
Fermenting.
Oh yeah, but it's
Wine
nice.
is fermented grapes. Cheese
Why
is
is
fermented milk.
fermenting like
I
grapes
don't know
and
why
cheese
fermented
different
grapes
from
and
fish?
cheese is nice, but fish just obviously isn't meant to be fermented.
Well, fish has a smell even when it's cooked and when it's raw.
I mean,
and then when it becomes
biased. Yeah, I'm biased because I don't really like many fish.
Yeah.
I'll eat like shell, but other than that, I won't really eat fish.
Yeah.
Like crab and lobster and stuff, I'm fine with. But if you give me a piece of cod, I'm like, fucking take that shit away and give me chicken nuggets. So, but
Okay, speaking of travel, what's your favorite place that you've visited?
Barcelona. Barcelona.
Why?
Easily. I went on an art trip to Barcelona in year 10.
It's you and your Spain stuff again, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I mean, I love Spain. I adore Spain. The only thing that bothers me about Spain is how shit their economy is.
Spain smells like.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Don't get me wrong.
Just
Like Spain isn't the nicest of countries when you kind of look at it. When you walk around,
It's
there's
hot,
some dodgy
which
areas.
makes
It
it
smells.
worse.
It's hot, but the architecture is amazing. Some of the cities are incredible. The food is just unbelievable. The wine, the how they live their lives, like
what, having a kip at 2 p.m.
Yeah, having a kip at 2 p.m. and not having dinner until 10 and being up until midnight.
Do you not think there's a correlation there between that culture and a failing economy?
No, because they're not the only culture that has a kip at 2 p.m.
Who else does?
Probably the North Macedonian tribe or whatever they were called.
What? What, the tribes that just live for themselves?
They probably have kips whenever they want. They're still going.
I think they just wake up when the sun comes up and go to sleep when the sun goes down.
No, I just Spanish culture as a whole is just incredible. Their language is, for me, the most incredible language in the world.
Spanish?
It sounds
too quick to understand.
It sounds amazing when they say certain things.
I don't think it's that quick, to be honest.
Well,
once you kind of understand Spanish a little bit and stuff,
compared to like Korean.
Yeah, that's the structure of the language is different in that they don't have an alphabet; they just have sounds. Like we have a.
But Spain for me is just, but Barcelona as a whole, as a place, Barcelona just some of the buildings in Barcelona are amazing. The cathedral there, you've got Gaudi's house, which is just incredible. Like there's not a single right corner on it, like a right angled corner. All the buildings in a whole, like if you look at Barcelona from above, it just looks amazing. I'm trying to think what the cathedral's called.
The problem is though, Barcelona isn't Spanish.
Okay, Catalonia. Yes, okay. We're gonna get political. There's the whole.
It's a culture thing because you could go to someone from say Glasgow is a really great British city. They'll go, no, it's Scottish.
But the architecture in Barcelona is pretty similar to the architecture across the whole of Spain.
Oh yeah, but it's in Catalonia.
Catalan
people would like you to say that.
If you showed someone a picture of Glasgow city centre and then showed them a picture of a housing estate in Crawley, they're going to think that's from the same fucking place. Because the buildings are so similar.
So you're saying that Glasgow city centre looks like a housing estate?
No, I'm not. I'm just saying that if you went at these, do you think these two things, do you think this housing estate city centre looks like this? People are probably going to go, oh yeah, Whereas if you showed them a housing estate in Crawley and then went, oh, by the way, what do you think about Tokyo? Do you think these two are related? They're going to be like, no, that's quite clearly not the same place. It's not a diss on Scotland or on Crawley. I mean, to be fair, Crawley is a bit of a shithole, but it's not a diss on either of them. It's just there's correlations between the architecture because
There's a
they're from
difference.
the same part of the world. The same way the buildings in Barcelona are very similar to the ones in Marbella.
It's the same with everything, really.
Yeah,
like
but
every place.
for me, just Spain. I just love Spain because you not only do you have mainland Spain, you obviously have then the Balearic Islands. You have the Canary Islands, which obviously their own things, but they speak Spanish, and yeah, it's just for me.
So I've kind of forgotten the question. What was your favorite place to travel?
What's your favorite place?
Yeah, Barcelona was my
been
answer.
Barcelona. Mine has changed over the years. So originally it was New York, but as I've
Actually, and I'll add to it. What is the place that you want to visit most?
Okay. Yours is probably going to be like Barcelona again.
No, he's been there, so he can't say one thing. It needs to be somewhere.
This is why I turn around. I'm like, Madrid.
No, my favorite place that I've been to used to be New York because I just used to love the energy and the feeling of it. I've been twice now and can see the downsides of it. American cities in general are not the nicest places, I will admit.
Yeah, that's true.
They don't feel that friendly. They don't feel that clean. They don't.
Although saying that, San Francisco is an amazing...
Yeah, I think it depends on the region. I've been to. I mean, Philadelphia, I'd say, is an exception because Philadelphia's just sort of vibe and soul was really good where we were. It just felt really nice.
Do you know another
San Francisco and Seattle? I'd say Seattle's
another American city I want to visit. Cincinnati.
Why?
Big up Ohio.
There's nothing there. Big up
Ohio. Yeah,
there's a river and that's it.
I was meant to go last year.
But I mean, my favorite place that I've been to so far has probably got to be Berlin. Berlin is such a cool place. The nightlife I didn't fully experience seems fantastic. It's just a really cool place. Everyone speaks a lot of English. Everyone's very friendly. There's so much to see. I've thought about wanting to live there in the future, but I think that's now changed and will probably be. That's now the place I now want to visit next is probably the place where I would like to move to.
Berlin?
No, so
Denmark or somewhere.
Probably the Netherlands in general.
Yeah.
Just because ever since sort of the whole Brexit fallout and the UK's reputation sort of going down the can a bit, I've sort of been thinking my proudness of being British has dwindled so much so that I would like to see what it's like to not live in the UK. And I would like to see what it'd be like to live in Europe. And I've seen a lot of the Netherlands. There's a lot of. I follow quite a few Dutch streamers on Twitch.
Yeah.
Who they all speak great English. It's like one of the best places in the world to go for if English is a second language because they all speak it.
I know someone that lives in Grosjean, actually.
Grosjean.
Okay,
the racing driver.
How do you want to pronounce it?
Well, Groningen.
Fuck me.
I've heard it a lot from Dutch people. They say Groningen.
Say it like that, Billy.
Groningen.
Grosjean. It's a French racing driver.
Groningen. It's Grosjean.
It's Groningen. If you want to call it, if you really want to be like,
it's
English,
Grosjean.
It's Groningen.
It's Grosjean.
It's Groningen, but it's Groningen. You want to call it that?
Anyway, yeah, I know someone that lives in Grosjean.
Okay. But they live in Friesland.
Yeah, sure. They smoke weed. That's all I know.
Fair enough. Who doesn't? I mean, no, yeah. So, but the place I'd probably like. Again, it goes back to sort of like. I just think the Dutch sort of life, like everyone's really nice, really nice. I don't want to say This doesn't sound bad, but
you went to the Netherlands.
No, I haven't. No, I would like to go. I I mean this in a good way. Not a lot happens there. People just get on with their life. There isn't like scandals. There isn't crises. There isn't shit that goes down. Everyone just gets on and earns money and enjoys themselves and rides a bike or goes on a walk or rides a motorbike. I don't know. Just, and you compare it to the UK, where it's like everyone's really angry. Everyone hates each other. Everyone thinks everyone's a prick.
I wouldn't say everyone's really angry. I just say
I'd say everyone's a prick, but
you go in a town centre, you can see who the knobheads are.
Yeah.
You're just like they're a twat.
Why would anyone ever want to move to the UK?
Have no idea, to be honest.
It is a shit place to move to. There is no feasible reason why you'd move here over anywhere else.
Yeah, why? What fucking reason would anyone have to move to the UK?
Nothing. You get all you get is a underfunded health service, a government that doesn't care about you, people that hate you,
to want to move to
public
the UK.
transport is crap. You need a car. You need a decent job where you got to work 60,000 hours a week. Everything's expensive. You can't buy a house. Flat renting doesn't work. Landlords are pricks. It's just.
Anyway, if anyone is watching,
Rule fucking Britannia, God save the Queen.
If anyone's watching that wants to move,
anyone watching that is moving to the UK anytime soon, best of luck, basically.
But I think we might find those problems elsewhere.
No, I know. Like, I'm obviously emphasizing the thing of humor, but like like the healthcare system is like amazing. What they do here.
Yeah, you get free healthcare in Holland. Sorry, am I allowed to call it Holland, or is it just the Netherlands?
I'm not Dutch, so I don't know, but I think the Netherlands over Holland because part of the Netherlands is called Holland.
North Holland and South Holland. You're telling me how to pronounce Grosjean
because I've heard how it's pronounced, and I know it's not called Grosjean because that's a racing car driver. But no, I think parts of Europe have like a half and half. I think it's the most important part about like free healthcare is it's free on the point of entry. So,
what do you mean a point of entry?
So
it when you first step foot in a hospital?
Yeah. So people will treat you, and then they'll bill you. They'll bill you, and then which I think is the case in some parts of America.
Like you don't know how much it costs until the end.
No, that's bullshit.
But I think
if I get into a car accident in France and they're like 12 hours later, like, yeah, we had to remove both of your legs, and also we had to cut you open. It's going to cost you £20,000. The legs weren't necessary, but I'd be like,
but we wanted the money.
Yeah, I didn't have a fucking choice, did I? This sounds like a pyramid scheme. EU healthcare.
Just double checking. Free at the point of use.
What does that mean?
What's the
in practice? Free at the point of use normally means that anyone legitimately and fully registered with the system, i.e., in possession of an NHS number, available in legal UK residents regardless of nationality, but not non-resident British citizens, can access the full breadth of critical and non-critical medical care. That's what I mean. Is that some types of medical care are free on the point of use, and some aren't. If you need to have a new hip done, they'll charge you for it, and they'll let you know that.
Not necessarily.
But in this country, I think you're fine.
Yeah.
You can choose to go private if you want a better experience.
True.
But
I'm actually getting private healthcare done soon.
Of course you are.
No, I am.
Why?
I recently found out that I suffer from a case of tongue-tied.
I was going to say, is this your STI check coming back?
No.
I thought that.
No, I found out I've grown up just being tongue-tied. I thought it was normal. I thought
you were taking the pisser. What does tongue-tied mean?
It's where you get like a bit of skin that attaches your tongue to the bottom of your mouth.
My friend has it. Yeah.
Like, stick your tongue out your mouth now.
I have a bit that attaches to the bottom of my mouth.
Theirs goes further,
just stick your tongue out of your mouth right at this second.
Yeah.
No, like as far as you can.
It's like when he tries to do that, it will come out like this much
Yeah,
because it's being held back.
like it's caught on my teeth. That's when it gets caught on my teeth.
Can you not like really force it forward?
No,
Rip
it gets caught on my teeth. So basically, the whole, and I thought this was normal. I thought every fucking person had this, and some people just had it worse than others. I thought it was completely normal, and I was reading up about it, and apparently they're meant to get rid of it at birth. They're meant to spot it at birth, and they just cut it, and it's completely painless. Babies don't notice, and you grow up completely normal. Fuck no, my doctors were obviously fucking slacking this day because they did not check.
Sam, what are you doing?
Can you curl your tongue?
Yeah.
Does it stop you from curling your tongue?
No. But it just like so basically with my mouth wide open, I can't touch the top of my mouth with my tongue. I can't touch the roof of my mouth.
I mean, I can a bit. I have to stretch, but
Yeah, but you can stretch your tongue up. I can't stretch my tongue at all. But it's like it was meant to get done when you're born. They're meant to snip it at that point because it's painless for a baby.
Does this impact your performance in a certain act?
Yes and no.
Probably to an extent.
To an extent, yes. The part of my skin that attaches the two can become very sore over time. It's what's more annoying is it gets caught in my teeth. But yes, it does impact certain acts.
The situation, you get stuck. Your
tongue
gets stuck. Your teeth get stuck.
So one thing is if you had a yogurt pot that you'd finished, but there was a little bit at the bottom that you wanted to lick out.
Yeah.
You could stick your tongue in and lick that yogurt out.
Sometimes, depending on the depth of the.
Let's say it's not that deep. It's just something that you can.
Yeah. No.
I can't do that.
You're clearly missing out on such a valuable experience.
Yeah, this is it. Like, and apparently, like, it will. Once I get it, so basically, what it is private healthcare. They will just basically numb everything and cut it away, and then it heals in like 2 weeks' time.
The NHS not do that?
Yeah, they do, but the waiting list for the NHS is ridiculously long, especially at the moment. So basically, once I get that done, apparently, like your speech can improve. It actually causes your muscles to be more strained. It causes you headaches and stuff just because there's that constant strain within your mouth. I get to the end of the day sometimes if I've been talking a lot, it will actually feel sore from where my tongue's because as soon as I move my tongue up, it starts to stretch.
Can you like pull it where like pulling a muscle? Where you can't, your tongue just can't go any further. I can't be a tongue. It's just like that.
Yeah, it's. And I thought it was normal. I thought this was normal growing up, but apparently not.
He's just going to come out and he's going to just sound completely different. Like, hey,
yeah, I'm going to come out and I'm going to just probably, I don't know.
Just sound completely different. Your accent will be so different. Sounding like Morgan Freeman.
Yeah, but it apparently it causes so many things, and I didn't realise. And it's something that's meant to get sorted when you're born, but apparently they just don't check it anywhere near as often.
How did you even find out it was a problem?
My girlfriend. She not in that.
Your tongue doesn't go very far, Welly. Why is that?
No, not.
Are you just shit at this, or is there something deeper? It's not your tongue.
No, not
deep
in
enough.
that. Not in that. I don't remember how the conversation came about. It was not from that. But she said, "Stick your tongue out," and I stuck my tongue out, and obviously only came to like here. And she went, "I think you're tongue tied because you." And I was like, "What do you mean?" And she stuck her tongue out, and obviously it came down to like this has always been so. I wonder why I can't touch the tip of my nose with my tongue. And obviously, so she stuck her tongue out. She was like, "Yeah, like you've got that bit of skin underneath. You can't stick your tongue out. It's not normal." And I asked my mum about it, and she was like, "Oh yeah, you must be tongue tied." I was like, "Do you not notice this when I was a kid, like growing up?" And she was like, "Well, I don't know. I didn't really think it was a big deal." I was like,
I don't think anyone really looks underneath your tongue though.
No, unless people are going like, "Can you do this with your tongue?"
This is the thing. Doctors are meant to look when you're first born.
Yeah, doctors, but your mum's not gonna be like,
Why
hold
don't
on,
they do it?
Willie,
I
open
don't
your
get
mouth.
why doctors and nurses don't do this. It's
Well,
such a
maybe they
simple,
did.
mediocre
Maybe they
task.
did and they didn't notice it. Or maybe
That's
maybe
bollocks.
maybe there was an emergency in the other room while they were
That's
checking.
bollocks. It takes 2 seconds to lift a tongue up and be like, tongue tied.
Maybe they were off that day. Maybe the
And then
patient
all
doesn't
they
have
have
a
to
day
do,
off.
all they have to do is literally just snip it and just sterilize it because it doesn't affect a baby at all. They don't even feel that part of their mouth. at
Does
that
your
point.
dentist do it or a doctor?
A dentist can do it, but it's a doctor that I think
I
does the
prefer a
majority of it.
dentist. The dentist
Yeah,
knows what
surely
they're
a
doing in the
dentist
mouth.
would
The doctor's not a
notice
fucking
something
clue.
as well.
I mean, I don't really give a shit who does it at this point. Apparently, the way they do it though is they just get like a laser cutter and they just
Sebastian's
numb
done
your
it with
mouth and then
scissors, so
cut
he'll do
through
it for you if you really want. I'm sure he'll be happy to.
I mean, maybe they did just hate me. Maybe they did just
Bit of
hate
morphine
me.
or a bit of adrenaline in the mouth, you'd be right as rain. Get in there.
But yeah, I mean, I just yeah.
You think
I generally just never really knew. I thought it was normal for everyone, and it turns out it's not. So
you get to keep the little bit of skin like they do with the placenta?
maybe
I don't think they're cutting a bit of skin off, are they?
I don't know. This is it. I don't know. I don't know if they like because it's if you look at like a frog's foot where it's like webbed.
Yeah, it's like
It's
that.
almost like that, but sideways. It's like a sideways webbing.
So
I
they
don't
just
know what that would.
you don't know what a webbed foot looks like.
I don't know what a frog's for like webbed foot.
It's just a bit.
just a web,
It's
just a
just a
webbed
really
foot.
thin. It's just a really thin bit of skin that is attached between two parts,
Yeah.
and that's basically what it is in my mouth.
Okay.
Welly has a frog's foot in his mouth.
Yes, and like yeah, I don't know. It's really weird, and it does get painful, but I thought it was completely normal, and nobody doesn't have it. But apparently, it's actually just most people don't have it, and the very few people do have it.
Yeah, my friend had it, and I think he's got it sorted. I don't know.
Yeah, I've lived with it for 23, almost 24 years, and I never knew it was an issue. I thought I was normal, and it turns out I'm not. So
Nobody's
True.
normal.
it is true. Yeah, that's the
think
story of my
we've-
tongue tie.
Nice. I think we've reached the 2-hour mark.
Yeah, it seems we
have.
have. Wasn't here for like
Stormed
through
that.
2 minutes. We've had some interesting conversations today. Space, tribes,
Space,
tongue
cocktails.
tie,
I think you went on a
travelling,
bit. Travel,
cocktails.
planes, trees,
Webbed feet.
tongue.
Yeah.
All sorts. You could almost do it like the QI people do and just go by the alphabet. Each week it has to be topics beginning with a certain letter. A bit like where QI or their questions
lot of
or
topics.
topics to do A or whatever. Yeah, QI goes for
Apples.
years.
Just have a whole
True.
2-hour conversation about apples.
Yeah, like QI might have question on
Favorite
apples,
apples.
Yeah.
Favorite apples.
anus, and
Apple
Alfreton
juice.
Town. So
Yeah, apple juice, cloudy or not.
Yeah.
they were cloudy.
Apple cider. Did you
What-
like?
yeah.
You not like?
Red or green apples. Apple
Yeah.
trees. Do you have an
Apple
apple
pie.
tree? Yeah, apple
Yes or
pie.
no?
Crumble,
Yeah, apple
Crumble.
crumble.
apple cider.
Cider. Apple iPhones.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
Apple the company.
Apple insert, yeah.
Yeah. That's yeah. There we go. Next week we're talking about apples.
Yeah,
A whole 2-hour episode
A
on
whole
apples.
2 hour about apples. So tell your friends.
but no, yeah, it's
Being
been
here.
good. Chat, the Twitch chat. Thank you for your interaction as always. It was very much
Thank you.
welcomed. It was
Thank you.
very very engaging for a lot of it. So thank you all for tuning in.
Yes.
As this has been done on the Saturday night dunk. When can people expect to see it on YouTube? Tomorrow
Yeah,
or
Tomorrow?
tomorrow?
If Welly gets a thumbnail down.
No pressure. I'm already started,
Time
boys.
is of the essence.
I've already
Oh, yeah.
started.
So maybe you can expect to see that tomorrow or Monday.
Within the next 2 days.
Yeah. And then we will be back next Friday? I don't know. I think
Yeah.
We might have to reschedule next week because it is my dad's birthday on Friday.
Maybe next Saturday.
have him on. Bring him on. No, maybe next Saturday. I mean, I think Saturdays work quite well. To be fair, maybe we take Saturdays in the future. I don't know.
Well, to be fair.
But yeah, thank you everyone for engaging. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching.
Make sure to like, comment, subscribe.
Yeah.
You did that in such like a sarcastic way.
What's some other ones people do?
Always do.
I don't know.
I
mean, on the topic of special guests,
share
I
it
feel
with
like
friends.
we'll be bringing on some sort of guest, hopefully in the near future. I don't know. It won't be next week, but it might be the week after.
Hang on. We will do a special guest when we hit 50 followers. That's when we'll do a special guest. Yes. So spread this thing.
Like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell icon.
I swear to fucking God, if you guys don't spread this thing and we don't hit 50 followers, we're never doing a special guest. So you lot are just going to have to sit listening to our fucking voices.
What? I mean, we could be doing this until the middle of the summer and we're on like 34 followers or what. We'll do a special guest. No, but I think we'll definitely do something for 50 followers. I feel like we might have a guest on before that.
A 24-hour podcast.
Oh, Christ.
Fuck that.
With his tongue.
Yeah, my tongue will be done by this.
Hopefully, it will get fixed by then.
No, I think maybe at 50 subs or 50 followers or whichever comes first, YouTube or on YouTube.
Yeah, no, 50 subs on Twitch.
Anyway,
I think we're going to partner, baby.
I think when that happens, or if that happens, we'll probably do some sort of special Q&A where we just do questions from the audience.
Yeah.
Oh, we did a bit of a Q&A today.
We did a little bit, yeah, but it's just a good engagement. But maybe, yeah. But no, we'll be back probably next Saturday for more random ramblings. Hopefully, I don't need to do it again like I did today. But
yeah, we're never gonna hit 50 followers that way.
Yeah.
But seriously, guys, fucking spread it.
Yeah, I mean, I think
not the podcast.
Oh,
the podcast.
I think we've spoken about potentially making a TikTok, but I'm leaving that to YouTube because you two are much more down with the children.
Yes,
you know a lot more about that. So I suppose look out for that on any the social medias we have.
On TikTok, look out for it on TikTok. Exactly. That's where it's going to be. So
hopefully.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you if you've been watching on the Twitch, and thank you if you've been watching on the YouTube. Until next time, we'll probably if you're on Twitch, we'll see you next Saturday, and on YouTube, we'll hopefully see you in the next episode. Bye.
Peace.